Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Patrick Italo Johan Etnes. I'm originally from Barbados. My name is Patrick, and I'm the youngest person in the UK to be diagnosed with frontal lobe atrophy, which is a form of dementia. That's me presenting to the Trans Forum in Manchester, talking about issues that LGBT plus people affected by dementia may face. When I was diagnosed, I felt alone, and I did not know where to turn. Services didn't suit a young gay man with dementia. I didn't and still don't have a partner to help support me. While mine and everyone's experiences of dementia is unique, there can be many challenges that are specific to a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. I met with people from the communities to find out more.
I think one of the problems we find is people feel that they'll be discriminated against, maybe even when they won't. We call that internalized homophobia or transphobia.
That's Jenny Ann. She's a trans activist who runs the Transform Trans Network. She's making huge moves in trying to improve the lives of gender diverse people affected by dementia. So I have one question I've written down. So we found research that people from the LGBT communities are less likely to reach out for support and information. Why do you think it is? And older LGBT people often experience stigma, having lived through times where they were treated as criminals or unwell. Is this true?
That's absolutely true. And I think, particularly from the LGBT plus community, it is those feelings that they'll be discriminated against, people won't understand, and particularly older people, some still don't realise that homosexuality is completely legalised now. They come from a time, and of course, if they start to go through dementia, they may go back to that time where they feel it's not safe to declare they're LGBT. People who get dementia forget they've transitioned, forget even they have legal status, and then are distressed about, why am I like this when I'm not supposed to be out? Because they recall a time when it was extremely difficult.
I always think if one person thinks it, another person thinks it. If another person's gone through it, another person will go through it. And there's a lot of trial and error, but eventually we'll get it right. And if we don't get it right, we'll just keep changing and evolving as a community until basically we walk into a hospital and not have to be feared.
We thank your organisation for trying to support us.
That's Isabel. She attends the Transform group in Manchester with her wife, Margaret. Margaret has dementia and is married to Isabel, who transitioned over 18 months ago. Margaret has experienced many changes since her diagnosis, and I asked Isabel what her fears would be if she was diagnosed.
The very thought of that, it appalls. Well, it's a fear. The fear of not being in control of how I look and how I dress and how I present. So what happens if I go into hospital? Will they put me in a male ward? Will they put me in a female ward? If I go in a male ward, will they allow me to dress as I feel comfortable? I don't dress male at all now, and I don't want to. And I could see me, if I had any kind of memory difficulties, I could see me in grave trouble.
How important has it been for her to accept you the way you are at the moment?
Did you hear what Patrick said?
Yes.
Do you accept me the way I am at the moment?
Of course I do.
And why?
Because you're my husband and are very, very good and kind to me.
Makes me feel very humble.
It makes me want to cry. It's nice to see that within our community still.
It's so good to see you, darling.
That's Chris and Heather. Chris was diagnosed with dementia, and she met Heather while they were both working in the police force. Thank you very much for coming to join us today. And I know you guys have met me before so many times, especially you.
Yes.
But for the documentary, I wanted to ask you all a few questions. Have you felt stigma towards your relationship?
For me, it was very much a case of having been in the police force. It really wasn't accepted then, even though they say it would have been all right. So I never openly admitted that I had a relationship with a woman. And some of my family know and some of my family don't know. But I think if people ask me, I'm prepared to tell them.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Patrick.
How are you, Mike?
Yeah, very good. How are you? I'm just going to bring Tom in a little bit.
Okay.
There we are. There he is.
Hi. That's Mike and Tom. They couldn't travel to Brighton to meet me due to Tom's health issues. I asked Mike to explain a bit more about Tom's diagnosis. We both have something in common, your partner and myself. We're both HIV positive. And there is something that your partner has which is very unique that not many people know about, which is HIV related dementia. And I wanted to know if it's possible that you could explain that for me, please.
Yes, unfortunately, a very small minority, about 2% of people with HIV develop cognitive impairment, which progresses to a thing called HIV-associated neurological disorder, which is abbreviated to the word HAND. And that brings about a very similar level of dementia that you'd expect from somebody perhaps who's developing Alzheimer's or other comparative types of dementia. And there is so little known about it that, in fact, it's very difficult to get any specific information about how it might progress or how you might deal with some of the issues that arise from it. But we do know that it exists, and the only reason it isn't a bigger issue probably is because those people who have it are very much isolated. Maybe they're not supported, and maybe they are taken into care or either into health or social care, and this isn't recorded or revealed. So, we've got a bit of a way to go with that.
Do you think mainstream services are suitable for LGBT plus people affected by dementia?
I don't think mainstream services are ready for LGBT people. When we go for medical care for Tom, and although people are very nice, it's still a surprise that we're a couple. The relationship we have is we love one another very much, and I would do anything for Tom. Any couple who love one another will do that. And so I need to be engaged positively, and that hasn't always happened. They need to see me as his number two, his right arm, his other
life
half,
partner.
literally.
Yeah.
Hi, Patrick.
Nice to see
Hi,
you.
I'm Daniel.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
That's Daniel Cheeseman, the CEO of the LGBT Switchboard in Brighton.
Tea or coffee, Patrick?
Coffee, please.
Brilliant.
Thanks. It's important to note how the concept of family can really differ for LGBT plus communities. People like me have no long-term partner or family close by to support them, and we rely on our network of friends. I have a few obvious questions for yourself. How do you think the communities can be more inclusive for those who are actually by themselves, who don't have a partner?
Yeah, I think that's a whole community movement, and being an organisation in Brighton and Hove, which has quite a high demographic of LGBT people living here, I think we have to kind of look out for each other, and we've got examples through our Older Persons project of where we are aware of those people that haven't got the kind of traditional connections that people might have, and kind of looking out and working and advocating for those individuals in a different way, really, but with them, not for them.
When you get sick, when you're from the LGBT community, you really realize who your true friends are.
Absolutely.
And you really realize who your family are.
Yeah.
And I look at my friends a bit differently than anyone else. And they don't see it. I say to them, you are, in my head, your family.
Absolutely.
I may not be family to you, but in my head you are. Because
You're family to us.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
And, as a community, we're all part of a family, as a community.
I think our community needs to get a bit more closer together.
Yeah, and community is really important. It's a very special word, because community means about, it's a group of people, whether it's the Alzheimer's community, dementia community, whether it's community around LGBT. Community is really important because it indicates there's a group of people
We're stronger.
that are looking out for each other, embracing each other, and together we will be stronger.